Indian economy is doing well.
I am more optimistic today about India as a whole, economically, than I have been for a long time.
India will be the third largest economy soon.
What if I told you that India is on verge of becoming a $7 trillion economy? But there is a catch. While the world sees India as a rising superpower, there are hidden roadblocks that could either make or break our future. The next 5 years will define whether we soar to economic greatness or struggle with missed opportunities. So is India truly unstoppable, or are we sitting on a ticking time bomb? Let's find out. Now let us look at some of the growth numbers of India. For decades, India was called a developing nation, but today we are the world's fastest growing major economy. In 2024-25, our GDP is projected to grow at over 6.4%, far ahead of US, which is at 2.1%, and China, which is at 4.6%.
Thank you very much. We have upgraded our forecast from 6.6 to 7%, as you said, and
$3.7 trillion economy in 2024 is projected to grow up to $7 trillion by 2030. Startup boom in form of 108 unicorns with $350 billion of valuation. The digital payment revolution of India. UPI crossed over 100 billion transactions in 2024. Infrastructure push with over $122 billion investment into roads, railways and airports. But there is one fundamental question. Is all this bulletproof? Can we keep this momentum going, or are we ignoring deeper cracks in the system? Before we move forward, please do consider subscribing to this channel if the subjects of business, finance and economy are of your interest. Now let us delve into what are these hidden cracks or the roadblocks that could stop India. Every great success story has hidden challenges, and India has quite a few. If we don't address them now, our $1 trillion dream could remain just that, a dream. The first roadblock that I see is global uncertainty. The global economy is slowing down. Major markets like US and EU, where India exports over $250 billion worth of exports every year, are at risk of recession. If demand drops, India's export-driven industries like IT, textiles and engineering goods will feel the heat. Further, there are certain geopolitical risks as well. Russia-Ukraine war. This leads to fluctuation in the oil prices, affecting India's import bill. Second would be US-China tech war, which could disrupt India's growing semiconductor ambitions. Roadblock number 2, which I see, is inflation and interest rate problems. Inflation has eased from 5.4% in 2023 to 4.9% in 2024, but food prices continue to remain volatile. High interest rates worldwide mean global investors might pull out money from India. The third roadblock could be the job creation dilemma. GDP is growing, but where are the jobs? 10 million plus youth enter the job market every year, but job creation is not keeping pace. Automation and AI are replacing the traditional roles, leading to a major skill gap. IT sector grew by 8%, but the hiring slowed down by 30% in 2024. The problem isn't just creating jobs, but ensuring that people have skills for them. Another major roadblock is banking and financial challenges. MSMEs, which is micro, small and medium enterprises, contributes 30% to the GDP, yet faces credit shortages. Private sector investments are still slow, and banks are cautious due to past loan defaults. The fifth and emerging roadblock is climate change, which is a silent threat. Heat waves, erratic monsoon, and water shortages are adversely impacting agriculture, which employs 43% of India's workforce. If crops fail, food inflation rises, and rural income takes a hit. So here's the big question. Can India fix these problems in time? Or will we hit a wall before we reach $7 trillion ambition? Do let me know your views in the comments. Now let us understand what is India's window of opportunity, or in other words, what needs to be done. The next 5 years are crucial. If we get our strategy right, India will not just grow, it will dominate the world economy. So the solution number 1 is we need to reform land and labor laws, ease land acquisition for factories and such infrastructure projects, flexible labor laws to attract more multinational companies. Solution number 2 is skilling India's workforce, massive AI and automation training to our youth to prepare them for future jobs, government-private partnership to create over 1 million jobs by 2026. The third aspect of our solution is fixing the banking system, boosting MSME credit access to fuel growth of small businesses, encouraging private sector investments through policy incentives. The fourth element of our solution is becoming a global manufacturing hub. India needs to compete with China in electronics, semiconductors and EVs. PLI, which is production linked incentive schemes, are already attracting Tesla, Apple, Samsung and many such other companies. The fifth element of our solution is sustainable growth. India must invest $500 billion in the renewable energy to meet 2070 net zero goals, climate resilient farming techniques to secure food supply. This is our moment. India has talent, the resources, and the ambition, but will we execute the right reforms in time? India's rise is inevitable, but speed and stability of our growth depends on how we tackle our roadblocks. What do you think? Are we on track to becoming a $7 trillion economy by 2030? Is our track smooth, or do we need to fix our problems first? Do drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked this deep dive, hit the like, share, and subscribe for more powerful insights on business, strategy, and global economy. Be inspired, keep building.